Video, we're going to be looking at adding a new blog post to a WordPress website. You can see our Simpsons Creative website up at the moment, and we're going to be using this as an example. So you can see at the moment I'm already logged in, and you can tell I'm logged in because we've got this black admin bar across the top, and this lets me jump between the front end and the back end by simply clicking on the dashboard button there, and again to go to the front end of the website. But what we're going to be looking at today is adding a blog. So if we go through to the blog section here, you can see our latest blog posts. If we click on this example, you'll be able to see a single blog post, and this is what we're aiming to replicate. So to do this, we need a few things ready before we start. This is the blog post content and the images. So if I pull the window in slightly here, we can see I've got some of these on my desktop already. We've got the blog post content, which is what we've done in a Word document. You can do this directly into WordPress if you want and save it as a draft, but having it in Word means that you can send it for approval, for review. You can spell check it in an environment that you're comfortable using. And then we've also got the image that we're going to be using as the featured image as well. This one's from iStock, which is a stock image library, but you can use your own. Okay, so let's get started. So what we want to do is create a new post. So there's a few ways of doing this. What we typically do at the top of the window here is hover over new, and then let's select post. What this is going to do is give us a blank blog post to start from. So if we open up the Word document again, and we've got the title, so I'm going to highlight that and copy. So we just move this over to the side for a moment, and you can see at the top here it says add title. So if I simply click there and then paste, you can see it's pasted in our title for us. Then if we come back to the blog post content here, what I want to do next is copy the rest of the content in. I'm going to highlight it all. It keeps going down. There we go. And then I'm going to select copy. Pop back to WordPress into the type/choose block. And I'm simply going to paste. And you can see this has pasted the content from Word across into WordPress, and it's created the blocks automatically for us for the paragraphs as it goes down the page. We can see this by selecting the document overview. You can see we've got a whole bunch of paragraphs in there. Look at the Word document again quickly though. You can see some of these are intended to be headings. So if we close this because we're finished with it and jump back to WordPress, let's close the overview. Okay, so here's the first heading, and you can see what WordPress has done when we pasted it in instead is simply made it a paragraph block and made it bold. So what I want to do is unbold it because it's easy to see it's bold now, but once we change it to a heading it's not always obvious. Select the paragraph option here and transform it to a heading, and that'll make it a H2. So again, if we select the next one, unbold, change it to a heading, and then continue to do this as we go down the page. So another heading, another heading. Because the heading styles are quite bold as it is, if you don't unselect bold first, it's not always obvious here, but when you go through to the front end of the website, you'll be able to see it there, and it can cause problems, and it's not always obvious what it is that's gone wrong. So again, make that one bold. Now this one is brought in as a H1. On each page you want one H1, and that H1 is the title of the blog post itself. So we'll leave that one at the top, which is always a H1, and we just need to change this one from being H1 to being H2. This shows some of the formatting of Word can cause problems. If we scroll down the Word document, you can see this one has been selected as being a heading 1. It was different people adding different content, which is why the formatting is slightly different, but something to watch out for. The important thing is in WordPress you want to be consistent with your headings. Okay, I'm just going to save this as a draft. There we go. You can see just before I hit it, it did an autosave. It will autosave as you go through, but once you get to a nice milestone, it's always a good idea just to hit draft, save draft every so often, so that if you come off the page, you have problems with the internet connection, you've always got somewhere to pick up from. What we can also see on this page is 2 links that have come in from the Word document. So we see if we click on them there, we've got one there and we've got one there. I'm just going to copy link address on this one, and then I'm just going to hit the remove link icon so you can see what it looks like without a link. And then if I highlight the text and then press the add link button, we can paste in the link that we just copied and then press apply, and then we've got the link back again. So if it doesn't bring the links across with it, that's how you can add them to it. Okay, so save draft again. What we can do now is this little icon here. If you hover over it, it'll say preview, and then if you click on it and then click on preview in a new tab, so open a new tab in your browser and you can see what the page is looking like so far. It's a good way of just checking to make sure, again, the bold's not there or there's not any wonky formatting and so on. And you see the links are all in place as well. Now let's just close this one. The next thing we want to do is look at adding a featured image. Now, a featured image is one that appears when you click on the blog section. They're these ones here. And when you click on an individual post, they're also shown here. If your blog post comes out in other places such as the home page, that's also where that featured image will come out. So they're quite important. It's also important to get the size of it right as well. You can tell the size if you drag it onto the desktop, which I've already done with this one here. On a Mac you can hit Command I, and then underneath it's got dimensions. So we know this one is 1280 by 720. Might be slightly different on a Windows machine, but once you know what it is, jot it down somewhere, or again just drag the image off from an existing one so you know it's the right size. Now, to create a new image, what we would normally do is use something like Photoshop. That's not available for everyone, so the alternative that you can use is something called Canva. So if I open up Canva now and I'm already logged in, I just want to hit create a design, and let's do a custom size at the bottom here. This is asking for the width and height. This is what we'd looked at previously, so I know this one is 1280 by 720, and then I can click create new design, and what this will do is give me a canvas that's the exact right size for what we need. So you can see it here. What I want to do next is add an image. So if we click on uploads, upload files, and let's go and find the image, which is this one here, and then press open. It'll add that image to our library here. You can see the progress bar is just uploading it now, and that's this image that we've got on the desktop here. This image, if we open up Command I for it, is quite a bit bigger. Once I've spotted where it is, you can see the file size is 11.2 megs. That straight away gives you an indication of the file size of it, which is massively too big for what we need. And there's the dimensions, 4,896 by 3,264. If we were to upload this to the website, you're uploading a file that is way too big. The previous one, for example, which I've still got open here, is 75 kilobytes. So that's quite a bit smaller. If you upload large images, it'll take longer for people to download when they view the blog post, and it consumes your website bandwidth quite quickly. So now this is finished uploading. If we click on it, it will drop the image onto our canvas like so, and you can see we can move it around. The white area here shows the canvas, so if I just drag that to the top left like that, I can then grab the handles and I can make it bigger so it fills the full width. You can see it's pushing some of the image off the bottom. That's because the aspect ratio for the two images is different, but we've set our canvas to what we want it to be, so I can just keep resizing it until it's in a nice position and hit click off. There we go, and you can see it's essentially cropping out the extra areas of the image that we don't need. So if we then share and then download, it's suggesting a PNG. I'm going to switch that to JPEG because it's a photo, so you get better compression with it. Quality, if you've got a premium account, you can change it. 80% is fine. So let's go download, and it's just going to get the image ready and download it for us. There we go. Let's see where it's downloaded it to, the downloads folder. So if I drag it into the desktop here, you can see that's the new image that we've created. If we do Command I on that, we can see 1280 by 720 and it's 172, so a lot smaller than the original. Okay, so we don't need this image anymore, we don't need that one, so I'm just going to drag those into the bin to keep things tidy. Okay, it's given it a file name of untitled design. It's probably because we left it as untitled in Canva. It's not a problem. Let's close down Canva because we're done with that. So you can see how quick and easy it is to do. Okay, what we want to do is give the file name something that's relevant to the blog post, so when Google looks at everything it can make the connection. Untitled design doesn't really explain the image, but something say like marketing agency would connect better. So if we just copy that, I'm just going to rename the one on the desktop to marketingagency.jpg. There we go. Okay, image is ready to go. What I want to do next is upload it as the featured image. Now you can do this on the right hand side here. If we scroll down, set featured image, and if I click on that, it'll let us upload a new image, which I could do by dragging and dropping it on top. There we go, it's uploaded the new image. It's given it a title. We're just going to put the same thing into the alt text, which again is an SEO benefit, so you want it to be something connected to the post. And then I'm going to press set featured image. Give it a second and you can see there is our new featured image. Save draft. Let's open it in a new tab to preview. There we go, we see the featured image in place there. Okay, so let's close that one. We don't need this one anymore. The image is uploaded, so we can get rid of that as well. I would say if you got the original images, to keep them safe and secure in case you do need them for future use. The original's not the ones you've resized. You can always resize it again, but you can't go back to the larger ones once you have resized. The other thing we need to do is put it into categories. This shows where it will appear in the blog. Not all blogs have categories, but ours does. And you can see the categories are across the top there. So let's put this in branding and marketing as well. Blog is the default on ours. You may have untitled as your default, but you can just click them here to change them. It's not a problem. The other thing I wanted to do is to break the blog post up a little bit. We've done this with the headings, so that when people are scanning through the post, they can use the headings to sort of understand what that section of content's about, but it's always nice to have images and things in as well. So what I'm going to do is just click at the end of this paragraph, hit enter, and this is going to create a new block for us. I'm just going to do /gallery, start typing it, and it appears in the suggestions, so I'll select that. And then it's saying this is your gallery block. What do you want to do? You can upload new images to it if you have some to hand, or if you've already got some you want to use, you can use the media library. So let's use the media library. And you can see these are images that we've previously uploaded to the website. So let's select that one, which is our Simpsons branding guidelines. We've got a nice one of the website we've done recently. And let's select, let's choose another one, another branding guidelines, and then create new gallery. You can see we've got the 3 images. You can rearrange them as needed, but for now let's press insert gallery, and it's inserted the images into the post there. What I want to do though is turn it into something called a lightbox. So at the bottom here you can see your block hierarchy. And we've got image selected because we've got a single image selected. We just want to hit gallery. I'm going to link to media file, and what that will do is when someone clicks on it, it'll pop up in a lightbox with our site settings. Your site might vary, but this is how it works on ours. So I'm just going to click on this one, and let's do preview in new tab. Scroll down, you can see our gallery. We click on one of the images, it pops up in the lightbox, and you can rotate between them. It's just a nice way of splitting the blog post up a little bit, but ours being a little bit on the long side, I'm going to do another one. So if we come down slightly, let's hit enter, and this time we're going to do an image. An image is just a single image rather than a gallery. Let's have another look in the media library for something else. So we've got this, which is a Discover Stortford website in a smart object. Let's put that in there and see what it looks like. Yeah, I like the look of that. And let's do preview again. And scroll down. And yep, the images help to break it up nicely. What I'm going to do is give them some context. So if we just press this icon here, which is add caption, you can then type underneath. There we go, and it'll do the same for the image gallery ones as well. If you click on here, brand guidelines. I'm just going to check that with my spelling. There we go. That's one of the benefits of doing it in Chrome with its built-in spell checker. Underneath, there we go. Website design example. And new logo brand guidelines. There we go. We want them to be informative but still linked to the rest of the content. So I save draft, open a new tab, scroll down, and you can see there's the captions in place on the images, just to give people a bit more information, and the blog post is nicely split up. Okay, if we close that again, we don't need that one either. The next thing we're going to look at before we finish, I'm just going to copy the title so I've got it in my pasteboard. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, is this, which is the Yoast SEO settings. This is what Yoast will give to Google in terms of your title and description for the page. Yoast is an SEO plugin that just gives you more control over what WordPress would normally generate. And you can see underneath you've got the options for changing the title and the description. By default it will take the page title, which as you can see that's already in place, that's fine, and then the description is left empty. If it's left empty, Google will try and fill it in automatically, but it's always a good idea to provide something so that Google knows what the page is about, and it may actually appear. It's just not guaranteed, so you just need to keep that in mind. So if we paste in the title, and let's go up and have a look at some of the subheadings, just so we can link things so that Google's got a bit more context to what the page is about. So let's take that and paste it in, and let's go get something else as well. And this is just giving us some building blocks, and you can see as I'm pasting it in underneath, that progress bar has gone from being green to orange. There's limits to how many characters you can do, and this is Yoast just saying, hey, you've got too many characters in there. So what we need to do is start splitting it down a bit. Okay, I'm going to cut the title out for a moment because we will have it above and we don't want to be too repetitive. So define your goals and objectives using the marketing agency. It is important to research different types of agency and the services they offer. Okay, so that's gone orange because it's too long, so what we need to do is cut it down a little bit more. We don't really need that because it's not adding anything. Research different agencies they offer. Yep, perfect. So it's gone green. It gives a bit more context to the post. I'll probably come back and work on it again later after it's been published, but it gives you an idea on what to do with it. Okay, so if we scroll back up to the top, I've got a block selected at the moment, so it's giving me the block context there. I'm just going to click on post, so I'm back to where I am before. And this is where you get the option for when you want to publish it. So at the moment it's set to immediately. You can change that and actually schedule them in, so that if you wanted it to be published tomorrow, for example, you can do so. The way it works, however, is someone needs to visit the website to trigger that. So if I set it to go 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, but no one visits until Sunday, it won't be published until Sunday. If your website's getting traffic, it's probably not an issue. Just something to keep in mind. I'm going to publish it now though, so I'll leave that be. I'm just going to look at the next option down here, which is URL. If I click on that, you can see what it's done is taken the title of the blog post here and made it into a URL friendly format, which is put things lowercase and remove spaces, replace them with dashes. You see it's quite a long one, so what I'm going to do is just cut it down a bit so it's a bit more friendly. So find the right marketing agency. That's probably a bit better without it getting too complicated and being a bit so let's do that. And then just give everything a glance over to make sure it's all okay. Right, looks good to me, and let's hit publish. And at the bottom, post publish, view post. Now it's published, so it's live on the site, and what you've lost is the option to save draft because it is live. So any changes you make now, you'll then have to update rather than save draft, just to make sure they're live. So what I'm going to do, if I hit update again, you get the option at the bottom, and then you can click view post. And there you go, we can see the post is now live on the site. If I click onto blog, you can see there's a new blog post with the title and today's date showing that it's been published on the site. If we had it on the home page, the latest blog post, which we don't on ours, but if you did, it would also be added to that. You may find that feature works on something called featured post, and you'll have a category, as I showed you before, which says featured or pinned or something similar. If you can't find it, or you're not sure which option it is, click on a blog post that's already in that section and just check what categories they're in. But hopefully the video's been helpful in showing you how quick and easy it is to publish posts with WordPress. Any questions, comments, thoughts, get in touch.